I'm going to talk now about role play because that's also play. Now, all children love to take part in role play, and it's something they do naturally from a very, very young age. It's important for them to start to learn and start to understand about the world around them, and role play allows them to do that. They mimic what they see their parents doing or other adults. I often see lots of children pretending to be teachers because they become very important adults in their lives. And you will have seen it at home. Your child will pretend to be like a chef, or they might pretend to be a hairdresser or a dentist. They mimic and they like to take on these imaginary roles. It helps them understand the world, and it helps them to reflect on some situations that they've been in and think about how they would be able to manage that situation if they were in it again. Now, one of the things I really love about early years is when I come out of my office and I walk past early years, I might see a superhero, or I might see a group of pirates with a treasure map going off to explore and find the treasure. And this is all child initiated. This is children creating their own treasure maps, working together, communicating, building on their language to go off and explore. I see them dressed as the Gruffalo, or they might be a doctor or a nurse or a chef. And I get asked to join in the role play areas, which I love, where the children have asked me what food I would like, and then they've gone away and prepared it, and I've sat and pretended to eat with them. And this is all great opportunities for our students to develop their language. It gives them a really rich vocabulary. Now, to create these role play areas, we need to create our classroom so that the children have these opportunities. So it's not the same role play all the time. It's linked to our areas of learning. So at times it could be a jungle, and we create a jungle in the classroom, and then the children go off and explore. We've had pirate ships, we've had vets, we've had hospitals, we've had police stations, we've had a superhero castle. The teachers in early years are absolutely brilliant at creating role play areas that inspire the children to use their imagination and to go off and to develop those communication, cooperation, problem-solving skills that turn them into lifelong learners and make them resilient as they go through school. We use talk for writing, and we use it actually throughout our whole school. And this is where children learn a story off by heart. They learn a story so that they can internalise that story language, which means as they get older, they start to use that language and understand the structures of story, which helps them with their writing. Now, for early years, we start with them learning stories at the age of 3. I've heard them retell the Gruffalo story. We've had Little Red Riding Hood. They've been on bear hunts. And it's fantastic because the children, again, they're enriching their vocabulary, they're learning about the language that we use in stories, but then they go off and they do the role play. And this is without teachers. They go off and they act out the story, and this allows them to develop their empathy for others. And they often take a character and will move that character further forward, so it's always improving their literacy skills. Now, role play is fantastic because it builds their confidence. It builds their communication, their physical development, and their problem solving. It's also great fun. And it can be child initiated, but it's also our teachers get involved. Teachers also create scenarios where they can be role models. So they could create a scenario. If they've seen something in the classroom, they can create a similar scenario as role play, where they get to model how to behave. And this helps children learn social skills, learn how to communicate with each other, learn how to solve differences. And this is a fantastic opportunity. So role play is really important in early years, not just for the children to go off and be imaginative, but also for the children, the teachers, to model behaviours that we would like the children to have, which will enable them to be lifelong learners as they go through school. I mean, it's fantastic as well for them to be able to create different scenarios. Even if there's no role play, you give a child a piece of material and a box, and they will create their own role play. It doesn't always have to be some amazing design by our early years team. Children are very creative, and we want to continue that creativity whilst they're in our early years. Okay, I'm seeing that quite a few people have joined us this morning. Thank you very much for joining. We've been talking today about the importance of play and the impact of play on learning in early years. If you've got any questions, do please post them. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I'm just having a look to see who's joined. Thank you. I can see Tracy has joined. Thank you for joining us this morning. I can see there's quite a few teachers have also joined. Thank you very much for your support. Okay, throughout early years, we are giving them the skills and opportunities to become independent learners. We want them to be internationally minded. We want them to be resilient. We want them to be able to communicate, cooperate, and have the skills to be able to go through school and be successful. And this is really important that we start that with our youngest children in school so that they have the skills to be able to go through and be successful. Our teachers are constantly assessing our students. Okay, as I talked about, we have focus groups, we have child-initiated but also teacher-led activities for our children. And the teachers are constantly seeing where the children are, where they are compared to our early years goals, and what they need to do to get better. Learning is about getting better, and that's what we want to emphasise as well with our youngest students. And when I go into our early years classroom, they can tell me. It's fantastic. They tell me what they can do, but what they need to get better at. So we have our learning journals, which is a book where we create their learning journey for them to look at when they leave early years. And it's fantastic for parents to have this because you have 2 years of seeing their learning journey and how they have grown as individuals, how they have developed their skills and knowledge, and how they've started to put those things together to make some understanding of the world around them. So we invite parents to be a part of this. Learning is best when it's actually a number of factors, not just the students and the teachers, but the parents being involved as well. So for your learning journeys, we would ask you to add to them from things that they've achieved at home. You know, learning to ride a bike, that's improving their gross motor skills, and it's something that should be celebrated. So those things we also ask you to contribute to the learning journey.